Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Got the D-Man here, and I'm glad you could join me today. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Today we're going to talk about masculinity, how to be more masculine, what it means to be masculine. Okay, smash that like button, subscribe. We got a video coming out every day. Hit the notification bell. On Monday through Friday, the video comes out at 4:30 Central Time. On the weekends, it comes out on 9:30 Central Time, or 9 o'clock. So, I found this article, How to Be More Masculine in a Hyper-Feminine World. So we're going to use that as a guide. Let's see what they have to say. Okay. We live in a world caught between two extremes. In one breath, we eschew and vilify masculinity and traditionally manly virtues, labeling them as toxic and detrimental to society. Yet in another, we revel in them, subconsciously pining for a resurgence in traditional masculinity. We are enamored with the classically masculine archetypes that proliferate our favorite movies, books, and TV shows. Think Jon Snow, Don Draper, Hank Moody, and Captain America. I know one of those guys. I don't know the other guys. I don't watch TV. So Captain America was around when I was a kid, so that was a long time ago. The blood in our veins rips at the sight of a vicious knockout in the UFC. Yeah, me too. And as we watch the victor leap to the top of the cage with his arms held high in the air, we can't help but imagine ourselves standing in his place. I have been in his place. Not in the UFC ring, but in the boxing ring. And yes, it's great, okay? And I've also been the guy on the floor. And that's great in a way too. Not in the moment, but you learn from that. It helps you to stay humble. I don't care how much of a bad ass you are, you can be whipped. Somebody out there is tougher than you. All right? So, lost my place. We can't help but imagine ourselves standing in his place. The taste of blood on our lips, well, that's a little extreme. The deafening roar of the crowd, I like that. Filling our ears and the inner confidence of knowing that we are capable of handling ourselves in conflict. Yes, that is it. When you know that you are capable of handling yourself in conflict, that will emit an aura, a presence about you that girls will love because they want to be protected. Contrary to what the feminine prerogative or perspective is, they want a man that can protect them, okay? Women cannot protect themselves like a man can. Yeah, they can go to the gun range and shoot and learn how to shoot a gun, but there are many women who would let a man talk them out of shooting them. Oh, honey, I'm sorry, I just had a bad childhood. Men aren't like that. Women can be manipulated by a manipulative man, and men can be manipulated by a manipulative woman. So it goes both ways. But to know you can handle yourself in a conflict, I can't speak this morning for some reason. To know you can handle yourself in a conflict gives you a certain feeling of confidence you cannot get anywhere else. I know that feeling. It's great. It's not free. You got to get beat up a few times to get that, okay? Maybe more than a few times. Just learn how to protect yourself. Even if you never have to fight, just knowing you can gives you a certain air of confidence you can't get anywhere else. Men have been warriors since the beginning of time, okay? That's not going to change overnight, just because we have somewhat of a safe society where we're not being invaded by the Genghis Khan crowd, okay? All right, yet all of our imagining does little to change the way we feel and show up in life. Yes, imagining is where it begins. That is a main catalyst. But when you have the intuitive thought of what you should do next to make that imagining become a reality, take action on that. So if you think, I should go to the gym and sign up. Well, I don't want to do that. I'm pretty busy. I don't know if I have enough energy. No, go do it. The energy will come. I have more energy when I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, do my meditations, my readings. I may even work out. I go to work. I have a very physical job. I do very physical labor. I'm self-employed. Okay, but and I get off in the afternoon. I come home. I may work out then, and then I go back to work. The more I do, the more energy I have. The less I do, the lazier I feel. And that is with most people that way. Try it. See what happens. Despite our desire to be the man, to feel strong, accomplished, and powerful, our desires are left unmet. We are not the hero of our lives, so we allay our growing sense of emasculation by watching other heroes through a steady stream of action movies, video games, and extreme sports. There you go. You're living vicariously through all these people. The movies and TV shows are not reality. If they were, they would be, well, most would be boring. Okay, some people's lives are not too boring. My life has not been too boring, but my life is a little different from most people's. Read the book, Coming Back Home, The True Adventure of Mark Daniels. You'll like it. Okay. So we live vicariously through these games, through these people, through these action heroes, through these UFC fighters. Hey, you can do that too. Go out there and be that. Be a movie star if you want to. Be a UFC fighter. I don't care how big you are, how small you are, how fat you are, how skinny you are, how you have no muscles. It doesn't matter. If you want to be, you will become. If you have a desire to be that. If you want to be a man, and if you have that burning desire to be a man people admire, to be the man that all men want to be like, and to be the man that all women want to be with, you can be that man. When I was a kid, I got humiliated many times. I wanted to be a tough guy. I wanted to be a tough guy because people would humiliate me, pick on me, and bully me, and I felt like a nothing. And I thought, man, I've told this before, but it can't be any worse getting beat up than feeling like a piece of dirt for 2 or 3 weeks. So I finally had a couple guys teach me how to fight by punching me around a little bit, bigger, tougher guys. So I got in my first fight, I lost, and I felt great because I stood up for myself. The guy had me up against the building, and he was banging my head against the wall. I hadn't even hit him yet, I don't think. So I thought, you know what? I better throw some punches. Otherwise, this guy's going to kill me. So I threw a few punches, and he got broke up. Yeah, he got the best of me, but so what? I stood up for myself. It made me feel better about myself. It gave me confidence. And doing that will give you confidence. I'm not an advocate of fighting everybody that talks badly to you, but I'm definitely not an advocate of you laying down and being a doormat for someone. You have to have self-respect, and you have to stand up for yourself. And if you can't, you won't stand up for yourself for the woman. She will walk on you, disrespect you, and leave you for Giga Chad. And you don't want that, and nor do I. Okay. Men today are lost in the famous world of Bob Dylan. The times, they are changing. And modern men have failed to evolve with the changing times. As feminism has given rise to unprecedented equality, our men are faced with a growing and inescapable sense of obsolescence. Obsolescence. All right, that's an interesting word. I know what it means, but I guess a feeling of not being good enough, of being less than, maybe? Okay. Men aren't needed in the way that we once were. I disagree with that. It appears that we don't need men. Who builds the railroads? Who drills the wells? Who does the construction? Yeah, you'll see 1 or 2 women. Who fights the wars? Who does all these things? Who invents everything? Look it up. Look up the statistics and see who does all these things. Men do all these things. Men are the construction workers. Men are the inventors. Men are the designers of the buildings and the skyscrapers and things like that. Men. Now, you have a few percentage of women doing it, but it's probably less than 5%, maybe less than 1%. You don't see too many women out there doing the hard manual labor. Example, I was going down the road the other day and they were putting in a new fiber optic line. They had the Mexicans out there, Spanish people, digging. Those guys are the best workers. You know why there's so many of them up here in the U.S.? Because we have a bunch of men that are snowflakes. They were digging ditches. I mean digging with a shovel, like I used to do when I was a kid. We dug a lot of ditches. Okay, you learn how to do that. There's a skill to that. No, you don't have to be ignorant with a strong back. You've got to be smart to dig a good ditch. It takes skill. But now we have backhoes. How many women do you see down in the ditch with a shovel? Nowadays in the U.S., how many men do you see digging with a shovel? I mean, really working. Most of the time you go by a construction site on the road, there's 5 guys standing there. There might be 1 guy in the ditch with a shovel, and then there's the guy in the backhoe actually digging the ditch. So, now that's good that we have modern machinery, but what I'm saying is we got a bunch of weak men out there. Most of them are overweight. What is it? 2/3 of America, United States, is obese or overweight. 2/3. I went to Walmart the other day and I looked around. It's a sad situation. If we ever had a land invasion, you think we don't need men? We would be in trouble. We don't have any tough men much anymore. There's a few out there, but they're few and far between. I raised my boys to be men, and that means raising them to be tough. That means making them do what they're supposed to do. Do they always do it? No. Do they get in trouble sometimes? Yeah. They're not perfect. I'm not perfect. But we learn and we grow and we're men, okay? They're young men. They're not kids. I'm telling you what, when I was 13, I knew the difference between right and wrong, okay? We treat these children like they're snowflakes, or like they're, I don't know what, until they're 18. Where does that, we don't prepare them. We have no rite of passage. We don't prepare them for the real world. They get bullied, they come running home and cry. They go to the teacher and cry. That's not going to stop a bully. The only way to stop a bully is to stand up to a bully. That is the only way to stop one. And once you stand up to him, even if you have to fight him and he gets the best of you, he will not mess with you again, because he doesn't want to fight. He wants to intimidate people who feel like they're less than, who feel powerless, because it makes him feel powerful. Take away his power. He can only take your power if you give it to him, or she, if it's a woman. Okay. Women, let me see, men aren't needed. Okay. Men aren't needed in the way that we once were. We are. Our seeming lack, well, it is different now, I agree. Our seeming lack of utility has left men wondering, what the hell am I supposed to do now? We no longer have clear roles in society, and men all over the world want to know how to be more masculine, and even if it's okay. You're damn right it's okay. It's the way you're a man, right? You were born a man. You're not a woman. You're a man. Be a man. Don't sit at home behind the computer watching porn. Don't sit at home behind the Xbox all day and then wonder why you have no social skills. Guess what? You're not socializing. Get out there and talk to people. Go out there and find the ugliest person in your eyes there is and go talk to them. Nobody probably talks to that person. Go talk to them. Start there. They would love to talk to you. What are you going to get out of it? You're going to grow. And then find the next person and talk to them. I talk to everybody. When I'm at work, I'm self-employed, so I'm the boss. I talk to people all the time. I go out of my way. I walk across the street. I walked up to an apartment complex by the job I was on and talked to this lady standing out there smoking a cigarette. Was I interested in her? No. But I talked to her. I gave her one of my books, and I talked to her. Yeah, I was a little nervous about it. You never know. Somebody may look at me and say, why would I want your book? And then I talked to the beautiful girl, the beautiful blonde. I gave her a book. Did I give her a book to get something from her? No, I'm promoting my book. I have promotional copies. Everybody, I don't care whether they're beautiful, whether I'm attractive to them, whether I think they're ugly, whether I think they look stupid. It does not matter. I used to work with a guy. We were on the same job together, and he said, you never know where your next job is coming from. And that's right. You never know where your next break is coming from. You never know who you're talking to, who they know. You never know who they know. You never know who they're connected with, or who they're connected with that is connected with someone else that may further you towards your goal or your vision. If you have a goal or a vision, you have to have a goal or a vision. Otherwise, you will not be able to cross or even see the bridge of incidents, which is what happens. It connects things. These are the things that happen, these occurrences that seem random, that move you towards your goal or your destination, if you have one. And if you don't have one, you better get one. Have a vision, have a goal, have a destination. That is what makes you feel fulfilled in life. Not the girl, oh, if you just get that girl. Many people will tell you, they've said it to me, you'll find the right girl and you'll be happy. I'm happy now. I don't need the right girl. I am the right guy. I don't have to have the right girl. But I'll guarantee you, until you're happy and fulfilled with yourself, you will never, Never be happy and fulfilled with someone else. Happiness is an inside job. That's what my old mentor used to say. And he was a tough guy, too. And it is. It's right. It's an inside job. Find it within yourself. Okay, let's go on. I'm done preaching for now. Okay, women are graduating from college at higher rates than men, landing high-paying careers, and they're not satisfied. That's not what women are here to do. They are not here to achieve like men. If they want to, that's fine, but they will never find satisfaction in that. They feel like something's missing. Okay, it would be like me staying home and being a mother. I've kind of played that role before, raising these 6 kids by myself for the last 9 years. There's a satisfaction in it, but it's not my job as a man. I don't feel fulfilled doing it. My part as a man is to raise them as a man raises kids. I'm not here to nurture them in that way, as a woman can. I cannot do that. A woman can do that far better than me. Okay, that's why it's best to have a man and a woman together, working together to raise a family. You are a unit. You're like a small government. And you, as the man, need to be the leader. You are the king. Now, does that mean you're a dominant jerk? No. You're the king. You're a just and fair ruler of your kingdom. When the shit hits the fan, you got to make a decision, because your wife or your girlfriend is going to be all emotional. She's not going to know what to do. She's going to depend on you. She wants a man that's strong enough when the storms of life come, or her emotional storms come, you are not moved. You are the rock. You are the mountain. You are the stability. Be that man. And until you are, you don't deserve a woman. That's a Sparty Fortune line there. Check out my buddy Sparty Fortune. He is pretty cool. Okay, he's helped me a lot. All right. I'll read this again. Women are graduating from college at a higher rate than men, landing high-paying careers, able to provide for themselves easily without a man. Yeah, but I'm telling you what, when that woman's at home alone in her apartment and she hears the door break open, do you think she doesn't need a man? Oh, she can call the police, right? Yeah. How long is it going to take them to get there? Does she want to walk down the dark alley at night by herself? No. No, she doesn't. She needs a man. But she doesn't need a feminine man. She needs a strong, brave, courageous man who knows he can handle himself. Okay, many are becoming self-made billionaires like Sarah Blakely and Kyle Jenner, and even running for president of the United States, Hillary Clinton, Elizabeth Warren, and Kamala Harris. Well, we won't even go into the politics thing here. We'll stay away from that. Okay. These feats, unimaginable only a decade ago, are indeed good things. Well, that depends on your point of view. I'm not saying they're bad, but that's all perspective. And this is in no way a call to regress to the good old days of the past, where a woman's sole purpose was that of a dutiful housewife. What's wrong with that? What is wrong with being a dutiful housewife? A woman thinks she can have a career and raise kids? No way. That's like professional athletes will tell you that they can beat anybody that has a full-time job, because they can focus solely on their profession as an athlete. Okay, one-minded, one focus. Okay, if you have a woman who's pursuing a career and she's got 3 kids, she's got to take to daycare every morning. Okay, those kids are in daycare from, let's say, 6 in the morning till 5 or 6 in the afternoon, in the evening. Who's raising those kids? A minimum wage daycare worker. Okay, so what you're telling me is she can do as good a job as this mother who's out pursuing her career. Raising kids is a career. Being a father is a career. Being a leader is a career. Someone has to bring the money in, which is the father. I'm not against the mother working. I'm just telling you that you can't do 2 things that well. Okay? I don't know how many women I have heard say, I wish I could stay home with the kids. Well, if you didn't have the Escalade in the house, the Escalade in the car, in the garage, 2 Escalades, yours and your husband's, and the $400,000, $500,000, $1 million home, and the ski boat and the ski lodge and the vacation home and all this, you could stay home with your kids. all right? It's a choice. It's a sacrifice. When I was growing up, almost everybody had two-bedroom houses. The only people who had these giant houses like they have now were the doctors. I'm not against none of that. But what is your priority? Are your kids your priority, or is money your priority and things? That's what you have to ask yourself, men and women. And when your kids grow up feeling depressed and lost and not loved because you're out chasing the dollar, who's to blame? We are, if we do that. Same as me. Same thing here. I'm not bashing on women. I'm just telling you that's how it is. There's nothing wrong with being a housewife. Actually, one of my wives, I've had several, she stayed home with the kids, 3 of them, and other women would ask her, well, what do you do? Well, I stay home with the kids. And they would say, don't you work? I'm telling you what, that is the most honorable job there is. And they would ask her, don't you work? That's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you're sick or not. No days off. You don't get to take time off. I've done it myself. When my ex-wife left and I had the kids on my own, I was working and taking care of my kids. I've walked the floors at night when one of my kids was sick. Had to call the nurse to find out what I should do. She had a fever. I've done that. I know. Yes, that's a satisfying, fulfilling job, but it's not me. But I did it. And that's what a woman, a housewife, that's an honorable thing. That's something you should be proud of. But it's belittled nowadays. Okay, let's move on. Get off my soapbox here. Simply an acknowledgement that this unprecedented rise in equality and opportunity has created unforeseen and largely unaddressed problems for modern man. Our physical strength, once necessary to protect others from the hidden dangers of life on earth, is no longer needed. I disagree with that. I mean, if you live in a first world country, that's somewhat true. But you go out there in the world, go live in a third world country. I lived in Latin America, in a country down there, for 6 years. It was like living in the Wild West. I'm telling you what, I was robbed once by gunpoint, attempted robbery 2 or 3 other times where I had to physically protect myself. I had to physically protect my woman 2 or 3 times, and I mean by punching people, knocking people down, throwing them in the street, things like that. So yeah, here in the U.S. it's a little different, but there's a whole big world out there that many of you people that lived in these first world countries have no idea about except what you see on the news. Okay? Think about that. So this is a false sense of security people have. Our physical strength as men, which a lot of us don't have anymore, is still necessary. I shake these guys' hands, some of these young guys, and their hands are so soft. My son knocked on the door. Sometimes it's hard to do a long video here because I have the 6 kids living here. And they don't know when I'm recording, or they don't know when I'm finished. So here I am, back. Our capacity as providers of resources and security is no longer needed. I disagree with that, as I said. Men confused. From a young age, we're told to be quiet, sit still, follow the rules, listen to mommy, obey the teacher, and avoid any display of aggression. Talking back are acts of masculinity. Not only are we not taught how to be a masculine man or how to be masculine at all, but we are actively discouraged from seeking these answers for ourselves. And this is so true. We grow up seeking the approval of our mother, and usually the father is working out on another job somewhere, so he's not at home. I'm fortunate, I'm self-employed, so I can actually take my kids with me to work and teach them what it's like to be out in the world. I do that, okay? But they're taught from an early age, and most of the teachers in school are women, and when boys act like boys, the teachers tell them not to do that. They get in trouble. They're told what to do, how to do it, when to do it, why to do it, by women. So they are programmed by women. Now, of course, a woman's influence is good for kids, but constant women influence is not good, okay? They need both. They need men and women. My kids are lacking because there's not a woman here. But for me, it's better because at least I have 5 boys and only 1 daughter, so better they be with me, a man, than with women. Okay, not only are we taught, okay, doctors give us drugs for any minor symptoms. Boy, that is too true. I won't even go off on that rabbit trail. Then sedate our lust for adventure and ability to create heroic lives. Teachers disparage us for our inability to sit still and pay attention and encourage us to fit in like the rest of the class. Follow the herd. I see the herd out there now doing what the herd does. Stick to the status quo and avoid standing out. Parents tell us to play it safe, avoid taking risks, and be grateful for what is a mundane and muted existence. Yes, and most of us end up living lives of quiet desperation because of that. Okay? Live a life of adventure. Men used to get on sailing ships at 15, 16 years old and sail away for 6 months or a year or 2 years. They never knew if they were even coming back. Now guys are afraid to walk to the grocery store. They're afraid of the kidnappers. Although statistically it's safer now than it's ever been. But the media would have you think it's dangerous to step out your door. So what if it was dangerous to step out your door? When I lived in Central America, it was dangerous to step out your door. Being a gringo in that country, I was a target because they thought I was a tourist. I was a target. I still walked out. I still walked the streets. I carried a big knife. That detoured some of them it didn't. I protected myself physically when I had to. I couldn't carry a gun because I wasn't a resident of that country. We live in a hyper-feminized world where feelings matter more than facts. Yes, if you're a man, who cares how you feel? Feelings don't matter. Do what you have to do. You're a man. Feelings only matter to you. Okay, they're important to you. They are your guidance system, but how you feel has very little to do with what you need to do as a man. Where agreeableness is lauded and assertiveness is criticized, where comfort and safety are prioritized and courageous and uncommon action are seen as unnecessary and even childish risks that endanger the common way of life. That's true. Let me fix my curtain here. My son came in and had to get something from my desk and messed up my curtain. Okay. That was bugging me. Throughout most of our lives, our very souls have been quietly and systematically castrated. Boy, that's true. Causing us to enter adulthood as little more than boys in adult bodies, well into our 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. At every turn, men have unknowingly been gradually feminized and emasculated, and it's quite literally killing us. I know, I see men now, or young men, they're not gay, and I have nothing against being gay. I have gay friends, great people, okay? So I'm not bashing anybody. I think everyone should choose the way of life they decide they want to live, okay? But what I'm saying here is, feminized is kind of, suicide, depression, and anxiety among men are at the highest levels ever. But we aren't doing much about it, especially for men. Instead of accepting the new challenges in our post-masculine world and fostering a new type of masculinity, most men opt for one of two extremes. We either relegate ourselves to lives of quiet desperation, like Thoreau said. Most men lead lives of quiet desperation. They're afraid. They don't do anything. They don't take any risks. I've been taking risks since I was born. Didn't always work out the way I wanted to, but hey, I've had an exciting life. Okay. We either with no back. Okay. I'll read this again. We either regulate ourselves to lives of quiet desperation, playing the role of the overly sensitive, submissive, nice guy with no backbone, no courage, and no drive, to wither away our lives in silence, knowing that we are not the heroes of our story and living on the sidelines as we watch others in the form of movies, fantasy, TV, social media make up the mantle of greatness. Or we assume a type of neo-masculinity, vilifying the feminine, blaming women for our problems. And it's not their fault. There's nothing wrong with women. Women are women. They're great. They're different. We're different. I love women. But you need to learn how to treat women the way they want to be treated. Not the way you think they want to be treated. Not the way you want to be treated. But the way women want to be treated. What women are attracted to. what women admire in men. It's not what they say they're attracted to. It's not what they say they admire. It's what they really want. Okay. And blaming women for our problems. And grouping together into vitriolic groups like incels, the red pill, and MGTOW. And push the eject button to opt out of mainstream society. But what if there was a third option? I say the third option is just be a man. Accept women for how they are and find out what it is to be a man and be a man. Not a man in today's society or a man 1,000 years ago. Find out what it is to be a man for you now. What is masculinity? Look what it is. Look at the history of masculinity. Look at how it is today and decide what masculinity is for you. And when you find out what that is for you, because everybody has a different view. I mean, we have the basics of masculinity, of course, and you can use that as a guide, but you have to incorporate that into your personality. What works for you? Everybody is different. There are the basic traits, as I said, of masculinity, the foundations. But from those foundations, you have to build the type of masculinity that makes you feel masculine. A new type of masculinity that marries together the best parts of the masculine and feminine energies. We have both masculine and feminine energies. And if you're too much in the feminine, a woman will lose attraction for you. A type of masculinity that allowed men to reclaim their power. If you've lost power, you gave it away. And if men are losing power in the U.S., and they are, they're giving it away. No one can take your power, and no one can take our power as men unless we give it away. To me, all this push for feminine imperative and all that is just a big crap test from the women, telling us men to stand up and be men. They want us to stand up and be men. They want to be protected and provided. And if we're not doing it, they're going to have to do it themselves, and they will resent us terribly if we do. Not so. Not so men can assert their superiority over women, but so they can work with women to create a better future for the modern world. I believe this type of masculinity is possible. And today, not only will I teach you how to be more masculine, how to be more, okay, he goes on to tell us what he can do for us. Okay. But, so there's my take on masculinity from this article, and I put my views in there. As I've heard before, take what you need and leave the rest. But find out, read about masculinity, what it is. If you have a good male role model, the best thing you can do is find a man that you admire, that you believe to be a masculine man. Watch him. See if he has what you want. See if he's somebody you would like to become like, or that you can use for a model to become more masculine, to become more of a man. To become the man that all women want and all men want to be like. I know this has been of value to you. Hit the like button, smash it, share, and subscribe. We have a video coming out every day. Hit the notification bell. Thanks for joining me. And if you would like to get my help personally, marksinspirationalguidance@gmail.com. Have a great day.